This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, welcome everyone to AnCan's virtual support group for low and intermediate risk prostate cancer for Monday, August 11th, 2025. A special welcome to our first time visitors as well as hello to everybody else. I am your moderator for this evening, Stuart Jordan, and I'll be assisted by Bill Franklin, Dr. John Antonucci, Boykin Jordan, no relation, and probably at some point our founder Rick Davis will stop by. We would like to note for everyone that this group is a peer-to-peer support group and should not be taken as medical advice. We're here to share our collective experience and answer your questions and hopefully provide information that we encourage you discuss with your doctors. Before we begin, we would like to thank our sponsors for all of our prostate cancer support groups. They are Bayer, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, Myriad Genetics, Telix, Blue Earth Diagnostics, and Foundation Medicine. And we also thank all of our participants for supporting us. And please, if you're interested, visit our website, www.ancan.org. So with that said, for the new guys, the way we work is we'd like to talk to you guys, give you the chance to join us and talk to you first. And we'll run through some quick questions to get some information about you and why you're here and share with the group. And then after that, we will move on to the rest of the group for anyone who'd like some time to talk, ask questions, tell a joke, whatever. So with that, first up, this EC. Welcome.
Welcome, and thank you very much. Glad to be a part. Again, my name is Irvin Clark, and just going by EC in Maumelle, Arkansas. I'm a retired military officer as well, or military veteran, and I've been out since 2010. And recently, I received a diagnosis of that I had a potential prostate cancer. So I'm going to biopsy on Thursday. And during this duration of the last 2.5 months, waiting for my procedure to be assigned and my second opinion, a distinguished gentleman by the name, I think he's been on here before, Cosley Edwards, just suggested I just, chime in, sit in and just listening, listen to you experts and a humble gentleman share, your novice advice about what's going on with you. So nothing in particular that I'm seeking information or answer on right now. I'm just in sponge mode, just trying to learn and grow. So thank you so much.
Can we ask you a few questions just so
Please.
We can better understand? How old are you?
I'm 60 years old.
60. Okay. And you said you're a veteran.
Yes.
So one of the things we will mention for you, Jim Marshall, who's on here with us tonight, runs a group specifically for veterans and is an expert in navigating the VA. And so we'll get you information and make sure that you have the opportunity to hook up with them. Do we have your email address?
No, and I did when I joined GoTo and I logged in, but I'll go ahead and post it right here as well.
Yeah, if you'll put it in there, we'll put you on the list for reminders so that you know when the.
In that regard, you do. I did get my own email to log in, so you do have it. That's good.
Oh, okay. Well, separate from GoToMeeting. We want so we can send you emails so you know about when the different things happen.
Okay.
So if I understood what you just said correctly, you're scheduled for a biopsy.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, tell us tell us a little bit about how you got to that.
Okay.
What's your history?
Okay. And I don't want to take up a lot of time, so I'll abbreviate, give you a short version, then if you have any other questions, we can expound. My history was probably over the course of the last 4 years, I've been having a modulating PSA, and finally, as my PSA plateaued and stayed above at the benchmark of 4, I was going for an insurance, an additional insurance policy, and was sent through screening by I think USAA, and I think it came back in the 5s. So at that point, I wanted to go back to the VA for a second opinion. Excuse me. And when I went back to the VA, I think I came back 4.58. So with that, the PCP, decided we better send you over for biopsy. That was probably the course of last year, November. And once I went over to urology, excuse me, we did an MRI, and the MRI came back and I had a T2 signal of 4, T2 signal of 3.5 and 3.5. So the 4 was, of concern for them. So they said we know we need to proceed on with a biopsy. I later subsequently conducted a IsoPSA because at the time the VA's biopsy department needed a part for its system, so they outsourced all of us that were on deck to go to private physicians at that time. That was back in May. So they canceled my biopsy, which was good for me, because then when they sent me out to private, I was actually able to get my second opinion on the government, so on the VA. So I was outsourced in June. The IsoPSA came back. I think it was 11, if I'm not mistaken. So it then confirmed what was identified earlier. So they have been waiting for my disc from the VA in their MRI so that they can use that. And then in the end, we have finally got on schedule. It took us about a month and a half. So I'm on deck. Ironically, I just had a friend today that I'm trying to get on here, and I think he stated to have stage 3, and he went in for his biopsy through the VA today. And I'm really just sharing this because a prayer, and at the same time, information. So he went in today, and I just got a word. Excuse me, he went in last Thursday. I just got word today that they couldn't proceed because I guess he had some particular hard substance or matter that they needed to do more determination assessment on. So they had to cancel his. So he's kind of going through a little bit of withdrawal and hearing from his wife. So I'm trying to belly up and partner with him or get with him just to offer any support as you all offer me, an outlet just for conversation and someone who's been in that foxhole or rowing in that boat with him. So anyway, that's how we got to where I am, is that I'm going in after a IsoPSA that confirmed the Veteran Affairs MRI, with MRI with contrast.
Right.
Was I listening properly? Did you actually get an IsoPSA result, or you haven't got that yet?
No, I did. Thank you.
What was that result?
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me think where I put it. It's in one of my bags, but I'm pretty sure the result was it came back itself at I remember 11.58.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've had an MRI and you're going for biopsy. Do you know, is the biopsy tomorrow going to be fusion, where they're
Yes.
using? Okay, great. That's super.
Yes.
Do you have any other medical history or issues that we might need that might influence what happens going forward?
And I'm with you on that. So as we went through the numbers with my doctor My dad had prostate, so quasi-hereditary. My prostate, I had one in 2019, probably not significant, but I had attracted E. coli, and my PSA was up around 947, and they had to do some procedures, some things then. It wasn't procedure, but so I don't think that um, that encounter, caused me any susceptibility. I think it's just been either hereditary, PSA ranging in the three since that time in 2019. I've been back. I never got back down to two. It's been about 357, below the radar, the upper limit, and then it started broaching up around four. So I don't have any other organ or systemic problems known to me. I've done the Pfizer, I've done other tests, to determine if there's anything genetic or hereditary. And I think it's just, I'm in that group of anomaly of men that may encounter that out of the ratio, and then my dad having it.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've done the right things leading up to your biopsy. You've had your MRI. That sounds like you're having. Is the biopsy you're having tomorrow transperineal or transrectal? Have they told you that?
Transrectal.
Okay, but it is a fusion
Yes.
targeted biopsy. So you're moving in the right direction. When you get your biopsy results, please come back and share with us what those results are, and we can sort of help guide you to the next steps in terms of what makes sense. And you may end up with low, in which case we would introduce you to the surveillance group. Or
Okay.
if it's something that definitely requires treatment, we will get you to the right place and help you along the next steps along the way.
Okay.
Before we move on, EC, do you have any other questions for the group today based on where you are and what's next for you?
No, I think because I have a good cadre around me. I'm in the American Legion. I have a few men there to kind of fellowship with and get an idea, and then hearing about you all, I think I'm in good company. I think I'm on the right path, and I'm surrounded by information. So I'll pass real quickly, but if you will allow, once I stop and grab my IsoPSA results, if I can just come back in and chime in, I will. If not, then we'll keep going. I feel good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, great. Well, good luck to you with your biopsy.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Joel, hi. You're next. Is our other? Oops. Hang
Hey.
on. Before Joel, just before we do, Jim,
Yeah.
Marshall.
Sir. Erwin or Edwin? The
Hey,
gentleman
you're
that.
still muted.
I muted my mic. I apologize out of respect. It's Irvin,
Oh, Irvin.
but it doesn't matter. I'm from the military channels. You can just call me anything you want, but no, it is Irvin, Jim. Thank you,
No
sir.
problem. Got a question, a couple of them for you. You said that you are being treated by the VA, which kind of implies you may already have some health issues. Are there any?
Yes, I mean, I am rated for ED, SMC, for ED, and but other than that, most of my disabilities are, joint related type in a composite. So nothing, I don't have hypertension. I don't have any organ ailments that would cause me from Googling it to cause a pattern or anything. But yes, by all means, if you and I can investigate or talk on a sidebar anytime, I'm welcome to open up and be transparent.
Yeah. Now, did you serve over there within Southwest Asia,
Yes, I did, sir.
the deserts? Well, that is a sure sign that you have been exposed to a lot of toxic materials, toxicity, which could have caused other prostate cancers. So just be aware of that. Another thing I would recommend, because I hear this from guys at the time they go to do the biopsy, ask them, are you going to numb my prostate? Because there are urologists that will not numb it, and when they start to shoot the needles in, you'll be clawing for the wall. So as I said, I would ask them the question. If they say no, you go, wrong answer.
Okay.
Okay. That's
Appreciate
just
that.
sort of a thing I hear out of guys about it is the worst experience they ever had. So, okay.
Okay.
I thank you very much and hope to see you within the veterans group next Tuesday, 8 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
It's the worst experience I ever had. EC, if you don't mind, what branch of service were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay, I won't hold it against you, but
I
that's
won't.
cool.
Well, look, I'm not sure what service you're from, but I commanded a joint, it was a Navy heavy component, and the Navy and Air Force tried to break me into the arena. So and I went in command in combat Air Force contingent. So I'm a little versatile, so I can take the blows as you dish them out.
Aim high. I was in 3 joint service units myself. John Antonucci had his hand up for a while, so go ahead, John.
Sorry.
Hi, Irvin. I'm John. I'm one of the moderators. I'd like to get a few more details on that MRI. Could you either email me your MRI, or if Stuart thinks we have time, give us a little more details about what they found?
Okay, let's come back to me after the others get their fair share, and then we go around the horn, and then if we get a chance, we'll come back, and if not, we'll do a sidebar with yourself, and I need to get Jim's contact as well.
All right, I'll put my email in there.
Thank you so much for being interested.
John and Jim will put their emails in the chat window for you, Irvin.
Going to get them now. God bless you.
Okay, Joel, hi. If you're on mute, Joel.
Hi,
Okay. How old are you?
I am 74.
74, great. And where do you live? Oh, actually it says Manassas.
Yes, sir.
Great. Are you a veteran?
No.
No. Okay. And how did you find out about AnCan?
Sure. Actually, I see Jim Marshall. I see him in his little box there, and he was very helpful in sending me the information. It's been a couple of months now. I met Jim through the Prostate Cancer Support Group, which is out of the SHAR Cancer Center, and I join in their Zoom sessions, which are held once a month over the past 5 or 6 months. And so I was talking to Jim, and he's the one that discussed maybe I could learn and get more information about the direction that I am going with my prostate cancer. And so this is the first time I have logged in here, but I have actually looked at some of the chats that have occurred over the last 5-6 weeks, just to learn more and to hear what I can. So that's how I found my way here.
Okay. When were you first diagnosed?
Sure. In December of 2024.
And can you share how did this all come about?
Sure.
What led you to the?
What occurred?
Yep.
So in March of 2024, when I went in just for my once a year checkup, my primary care, the provider told me that who I've been going to for 30 plus years. He said, "Whoops, your PSA is kind of high," and he said your PSA came back as 6.7. And up until that time, I had always been be below 4. So he recommended that I get another PSA test in 3 or 4 months, and that's what I did. Can you hear me?
Hey, Nick, could you mute? Thank you. Yeah, we can hear Joe.
Okay. So again, in March, my primary care, when he gave me the PSA, it was 6.7. So in 3 months, I went back and had another PSA, and at that point it was 6.3. I also began Flomax. I began taking Flomax. So I so after the 6.3, the care team recommended that I get what's called a four case
Yep.
score. Okay, I believe that's
Yep.
4K score. And that came back as a 7 with a PSA of 7.5, but it also said that based upon what they looked at, that I had a very high risk of if I were to have a test to look for cancer, that it would be a very high risk that I probably would have it. So at that point, about a year ago in September, I went in for an MRI. The MRI came back with everything looked great. My care team said everything really looks good. There's no sign of anything that it shows the MRI. So that was again, it's been about a year that I had the MRI. But because at that time, again, my most recent PSA was 7.5, and the 4K score was saying that if they were to do a biopsy, they would probably find it cancer. So I was scheduled in December to get a biopsy. So I had that done. And I'll just quickly sum up what the biopsy showed. There were 12 cores. Of those 12, I had cancer in. I had 3 plus 3 Gleason score cancer in 5 of the cores. No, I'm sorry, 4 of the cores.
I'm sorry, could you just repeat that? My internet.
I'm sorry, yes. So in 4 of the 12, I had a cancer of 3.3. I mean, 3 plus 3, Gleason score, 4. And in 1, I had a Gleason score of 3.4. 3.4.
So I'm sorry. So 10 of the 12 were positive.
No, only 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. So
Yeah, only 5 of the 12.
okay. And on the 3+4, the one that's 3+4,
hmm
do you have the number of any of the numbers about how much 4 was in that?
Um, the uh, the information that I have says that it's grade group 2, and that the 4 comprises 10% of the tumor. 10%.
Okay.
10% of the core. Is that what you're meaning to say?
Well, it
I didn't
says
mean to correct you. Just were you talking about the core when you said 10%?
no. Of the the 4, from my understanding of what I read in my biopsy, it says comprises 10% of tumor. 10% of the tumor, they say, is a Gleason score of 4.
Okay. Was there any mention of the length of?
Yes, 20% total biopsy length.
Okay.
1 mm.
1 millimeter. Okay.
1 mm.
Okay. Okay. So you've got 1 3+4 and 4 3+3.
Yes, yes, sir.
Were there any other noted characteristics about from the biopsy? Any mention of cribiform,
No, no.
PNI, interductal? Oh,
Um, no, no. I'll also, in addition to the biopsy, which was done in December, my my um, my doctor obtained a Prolaris report
yep.
for me. Okay, right at the same time, as soon as he gave me the results of the biopsy, he discussed with me what a Prolaris test would do and asked me if I wanted to proceed with that. And I said yes. So I did get the Prolaris test performed. And I'm not sure what information
Well,
there.
if I could
Joel,
jump in, Joel, if I could jump in, I would say that from what you've told us, just 1 out of 5 cores positive. That was a 3+4, and the others were 3+3s. You're sounding like a pretty good candidate for active surveillance versus any type of other procedure, such as a prostatectomy or radiation treatment. We do have an active surveillance group that meets every Wednesday. Same way you joined here, you could join that group, and it's a great, just like all these guys here, they're all the people that have experienced what you've experienced. They are in active surveillance, and they would happily talk to you about this.
Okay, great.
Didn't mean to step on your toes, Stuart. I just wanted to mention that.
yeah, no, that's where I was going. Joel, did you give us your email address? Did you sign up for the notifications?
I don't believe I've given you my email. I don't mind
Okay.
giving it to you.
If you want to just type it in the message box, do you know where the chat box is?
Well, let's see.
If
Okay.
if you look at the top right corner, there's a little man with 23, and just to the right of that, there's two boxes. If you
Yes,
click
sir.
on that,
Uh-huh.
and if you just want to type your
Oh,
email
okay.
address in there, we will get you signed up to get notices, and we'll make sure that you get the active surveillance notice, so you'll be reminded when that meeting is. It's Wednesday nights, the same time as this one, and it's here in the same room, so it's pretty easy to find. But given your age
Yeah.
and your stats, it sounds like that would be the best step for you. They can sort of take it from here in terms of giving you recommendations on how to proceed.
Yeah. Of course, Joel, you're welcome to come back here. You're no longer a newbie, but you're welcome to come back and listen. And you can drop into any of our groups. I would suggest that you don't drop into our advanced group, because then you'll just hear things you'll hear horrible things about guys that are going through more severe disease.
Okay.
But
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm very grateful, even though this has been the first time that I joined. From what I have seen on some of the other pre-recordings, I was pretty sure that maybe I was going to be told that I need to be in some other group, which is good. But I have learned a lot just from being able to look at some of the pre-recordings of men who have discussed, men that I see here who have discussed things, which has been very helpful to help kind of guide me to be pretty sure that the path that I'm on, even though my care team, even though I I really respect them and I get good information from them, I can't say that anybody has told me that they think that what I have been doing since I learned I have cancer is by not doing anything is the right way to go.
yeah, so active surveillance is not doing anything, right? Because you're actively monitoring your
Well,
disease.
sure.
John, you had your hand up. John Antonucci.
Yeah, I would love to know that Polaris score.
Sure.
Or what did the results of your Polaris test show?
John, maybe you can take that through the chat window.
Sure.
Okay, so we
And
can
then,
move along.
Yep.
Just put it in the chat, Joel.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I don't believe we have any other new first timers here. So we'll go down the list. Sherelle, how you doing? We can't hear you.
No, we still can't hear you, Sherelle.
Yeah, it says you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Maybe you got the wrong microphone.
We were talking to him earlier.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, at the
Well,
beginning.
I missed him. I tried to call him last week to see how he was doing. And I'm glad to see him sitting up. Work on that. Work on the microphone. Find the right microphone, because we'd love to say hello to you, okay?
Okay, let's move it. Carl, you're next.
Thank you.
What can we do for you?
Well, I'm in Canada. I have a place in Florida. I'm there 4 months of the year. I'm 77 years of age. I think I'm in good health. I have no other morbidities, and I'm very active physically, and I since 2012 at least, my PSA has ranged from about 0.8, and then in 2023 it went up to 1.6. Last month it was 0.975, so I've had a very low PSA pretty well all the way through. And I had noticed some small amount of blood in, let me turn on my camera. I noticed some small amount of blood in my urine, and that was about a year ago. And I had a urine analysis, and it was positive. There was no problem, but I saw it again, and then I saw a urologist end of last year, and I had a cystoscopy and a TERP, and during the TERP, he thought going in that he could scrape it, but once he got in, he didn't want to take that chance since I didn't have an MRI or anything, so he just took a urethral biopsy, and of course that didn't tell a lot. It said that I was mixed acinar and ductal morphology, and it didn't say very much else of anything else. And then I had a CT pelvic, then a CT full body, had a bone scan. PSMA didn't express very well, probably because of my low PSA, and more recently I've had an MRI, and so I guess I got more information from the MRI than anything else, even though it basically confirmed no extracapsular extension. And I'm seeing an oncologist I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, and it's a teaching hospital. I'm seeing an oncologist here, but I'm seeing a urologist at Princess Margaret Hospital in Toronto. It's probably Canada's best cancer hospital, and he had wanted to do the T3 MRI, and he thought that he wanted to learn more about the biopsy. So I got the slides to him because he seemed to think that with no extracapsular extension, that the ductal percentage is probably low, and that may influence treatment. Of course, he didn't have the MRI, so he wasn't saying anything very definitive. But with the MRI, I have one lesion. It's let me just take my glasses off and just read that. It's 1.1 by 1.2 centimeters. I guess that's about half an inch either way on surface, and it's in the posterior medial left peripheral zone near the apex, in intimate contact with the left transition zone. Of course, I'm not a doctor, I can't interpret that, but it's a PI-RAD of 4, and they're just pretty well, that's the Cole's notes, I guess.
You've got this MRI, but you haven't had an actual biopsy.
I had the urethral biopsy
Right.
with the TERP, yeah.
Right, but you haven't had a targeted biopsy going after what the MRI saw.
No, and my oncologist didn't think I needed to do that. He had, well, not before I did an MRI at least.
Well, with the MRI with the 4, that would sort of be your next step.
To get another biopsy?
Yeah, to get a biopsy that targets that lesion to find out if there's cancer there.
Well, I think I have a Gleason, the biopsy said I had a Gleason 4+3.
Is that the urethral one, or was there another biopsy?
Yeah. No, that's the urethral, but I think my urologist in Toronto and he's the head of the urology department there. That's Canada's best cancer hospital. I think he was a bit suspicious of that.
So what's your question for us?
I guess my question is, what do I do next? Because I thought I might be in a position now where I need to decide between radiation or surgery. But I'm seeing the urologist in Toronto next week.
Is that a urologic oncologist?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And he just does prostates, or mostly prostates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it sort of sounds like, it might, depending on what you've got, information you've got so far, if it's 4+3, you've got something that, needs to be focused and addressed on. And you've got this MRI, so I would sort of focus on, have him tell you what he sees and sort of listen and consider what your next steps are there, because it's a little bit unusual.
Yeah, because with the low PSA, and we didn't express on my PSMA, but my oncologist had thought I should do radiation, but that's.
And this is sort of what you're dealing with is a little bit out of my league. John, have you got any comments for Carl?
I was going to ask Stuart. I was going to ask, are they basing any of this on your age, Carl? What they're talking to you about? Is that part of the discussion?
The urologist in Toronto had said that for surgery, he thought surgery might be better, but he said, I'm at 77. You got to consider the side effects. I mean, I'm in really good physical condition. I jog 5 to 10 kilometers 3 times a week. I walk in between. And I got, I'm in otherwise very good health, but age is still working against you, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And have you had a transperineal biopsy done?
Yeah, I had the TERP. Yeah. Yeah.
Rick?
No, Carl, a TERP is something different. What Boykin asked was a transperineal biopsy versus a transrectal biopsy.
No.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
So
yeah.
They don't go into your rectum with a transperineal. They go through
the
perineum. Rick had his hand raised.
Yeah. Who's your urologist in Toronto, Carl?
And Dr. Neil Fleshner is head of the urology department.
Yeah, we know him well.
Yeah.
He actually lives in the same building as Dr. Jack, John. And he's a good buddy. He's a good buddy of Dr. Jack. I mean, Fleshner's good. I would say that I would expect Fleshner to suggest that you do a transperineal biopsy to see the extent of that lesion, confirm what the Gleason score is, and then make a decision based on that. I really cannot. I don't think surgery is an option for a 77-year-old man. At least I certainly wouldn't do it. I mean, it's been done, but I would say if you're going to see Fleshner next week, tell him AnCan sends his best, and Jack Baruch. And by the way, can you get that thing biopsied as soon as possible to decide if we need to do something with it? I mean, if it turns out to be a 3+4, and there isn't a lot of cancer, and that's the only spot that you've got, then you can relatively safely go under active surveillance under Dr. Fleshner.
The urologist who did the TURP, he told me afterwards, this young guy, he didn't have the benefit of of the MRI. He thought he could scrape it, and
yeah. I wouldn't go with scraping it, and it's not conventional. If it comes back, then you've got other issues. If it's a 4+3 or even more than a 4+3, you may need the whole gland treated. So I would ask. You have to find out how large that is. If that's the only spot that's showing up on the MRI, you've got to find out how large it is and then make your decision on that. Short of that, you can't be making a decision. Your oncologist I would say that your oncologist in Newfoundland is not probably giving you great advice. You've got to drill down and find out exactly what's there. You can't just leave it.
No. Okay. Well, it's 1.1 by 1.2 centimeters, and MRI said the prostate is.
Okay, but that's enough. That's enough, Carl. I mean, it's big enough that we need to find out exactly what's there.
Thank you.
Right. So, I would say if you want to take something away from this meeting, you've got a good doc in Fleshner, and go in, get it biopsied. I would say a transperineal, because there may be some stuff hiding that we can't see as well, and the transperineal is going to expose that. But if you want to be sure, stay on the right side of the grass for a long time. Just get it done.
Thank you very much.
You got to jump in, get it done, and I would insist and talk to Fleshner, tell him you really want a transperineal, and you'd like to get it done wherever you may be able to get that done in Newfoundland. You may have to get it done in Toronto, but I would say that's the way to go. What do the rest of the moderators say?
Well, this is John. This is a very classic risk versus benefit calculus. Certainly, if Carl was in the kind of shape that a lot of people are at 77, the risk of treatment, of chemotherapy, even the risk of a biopsy could potentially outweigh the benefits. But here's a guy that's fit, enjoying life, running several times a week, and has a very high level of functioning, and doesn't have any serious other illnesses, if I'm right, that are threatening him. So in that case, I kind of agree with Rick that it would be worth treating Carl as if he were a younger fellow. Now, the risk of a transperineal biopsy set up against your level of health and strength, to me, I think it's a good risk-benefit ratio. I think if you were more frail, it would be a different story. But all along the way, you have to ask, what's the risk and what's the benefit? You know, it sounds like there's some abnormal pathology in those TERP chips, not just adenocarcinoma, but maybe something else, right? Would it be good to know those things in a 77-year-old person in excellent health? That's exactly the question you and your urologist are going to have to balance. Is it worth the trouble looking deeply into this? That's how
Thank
I would
you.
formulate it in my mind.
My Garmin watch tells me my fitness age is 36 and my VO2 max is 42. So
I'd be afraid to get a reading from a watch like that myself. But you know, personally, Carl, I've never had anything but a rectal biopsy, and I was in my early 50s, and I tell you what, it was horrible. The descriptions that people have given me for transperineal, and I've had discussions with guys where we discussed the exact processes side by side. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do the transperineal for sure. But you know, that's just coming from me saying that I really, you know, earlier someone said the worst thing that ever happened to him, then maybe the trans rectal biopsy was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
okay, certainly I really appreciate the comment.
Carl, come back and see us after you see the doctor in Toronto and let us know what he says.
Yeah, I'm seeing him on the 19th of August, and I'm seeing the oncologist on the 25th of August. Yeah.
Well, we'll be back here in 2 weeks, so come back and tell us what they say.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Sherelle, is that you on the phone?
Yes, I called in, Stuart. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yep, we can.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm coming to you from York Avenue, Upper East Side of New York City. Here at New York Presbyterian Hospital, had Dr. John Hugh did my prostatectomy this past Wednesday. I see him follow up this Wednesday and get this lovely and wonderful catheter removed, and then I'll be on a flight back to Alabama. So far, so good. No pain, just some soreness, but I've been out walking every day, and like I say, I feel better as each day passes.
well, that's great news. We're happy for you. And like I said, I told you earlier, I know that you know, I'm also get treated at Weill Cornell, and the folks all there are just really top notch and have taken very good care of me. It sounds like they're doing the same for you.
Yes, they are.
Hey, Sherelle, I'm sorry, Stuart, go ahead.
Oh, that's right, Bill. Go.
Now, Sherelle, I was going to ask, how soon after you get the catheter removed are you planning on flying back?
Catheter is being removed at 9:30, and my flight's at 2 p.m.
You're a brave man.
I'm ready to go home.
They had to, and your doctors discussed with you the, you know, incontinence and leakage after a catheter removal and all of that, and
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bill.
Don't want to tell you any horror stories, but in my personal experience, when I got mine removed, I couldn't control my urine for 48 hours. I was wearing male diapers, and I mean adult diapers, and changing them every 15 minutes. But that was my horror story. Everybody's different. We've had men on here that say they had their catheter removed and they had control like an hour later. So
I bought a pack of adult diapers with me.
That was a good move.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I won't tell the whole story. Rick and some of the other guys have heard my catheter horror story. So, but I actually had an incident and ended up wearing the catheter for about 6 weeks. So,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, you are my hero, sir.
Sherelle, where are you staying right now? I mean, you're not still in the hospital, are you?
Oh no, I'm next door at the Helmsley Towers.
Okay. All right. Well, we've all been thinking about you. The Bracker brothers have all been sending you notes I've been seeing. I know Dr. E got a call from Dr. Hugh because she told us. So, and he
Great.
said everything went great. So, and the pills that Sal suggested, you can definitely get that. Dr. E will prescribe those for you without, I don't think there'll be any issue there. We're all thrilled. For those of you on the call who are not aware, Sherelle has a germline BRCA mutation, which means that the path that he's taken has been a little more aggressive than, say, people would normally do because of that BRCA mutation. And he also has a fantastic GU medical oncologist on board because he's got to be doing testing for a bunch of other cancers just because of this BRCA2 mutation. So, we're all happy that you're moving along, and we're here to support you, Mr. Roberts.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Rick, and thank you to this group. The advice, the counsel, the navigation help that I got from this group, I can't put it into words. Finding this group really made a huge difference and put me at ease. So again, thank you to everyone. And if you're new here, you're in the right place. This AnCan will get you to where you need to go. And so I look part of being a part of AnCan for many more years in the future.
And we definitely appreciate that sentiment, Sherelle. We didn't pay Sherelle anything to say that, guys. I think him and Joel might be in our next commercial.
Yeah. Hey, Sherelle, when you go back on Wednesday to see Dr. Who,
yeah.
Two quick tips. Don't go in the main entrance. Go in the back entrance.
Yes.
That way you skip the visitor line and allow a few extra minutes because those elevators are really slow.
Will do, Stuart. Thank you.
You could wait 5 minutes to get an elevator.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, hope everything goes well, and call us. Come in, see us after you get home, and let us know how the trip home went.
Will do, sir.
Great. David, you're next.
Okay, so July was a busy month for me. I got radiated. I threw the book at it, did the IMRT with an HDR brachytherapy boost and plus ADT. And so my thoughts now turn away from the question of what should my primary treatment be, and instead, how can I either delay or prevent a recurrence? Like Sherelle, I've got a BRCA mutation, BRCA1, and my biopsy turned up cribriform. So, and I've got a 4+3, so kind of up there, which is why I went with the heavier radiation. And first 10 days afterward, the urinary symptoms were pretty significant. But I'm glad to say that in the last week, wow, they've really improved about 80%. And so I'm feeling good. I'm not in any discomfort. Still got a weak stream, still have nocturia, but no discomfort urinating. So everything seems to be heading in a very good direction there and quicker than I was expecting. So my question is getting to the point of ADT and also the goal of avoiding or delaying a recurrence, which is a significant worry with the BRCA. I got a couple questions for you, kind of a brainstorming request to help me resolve this, perhaps. I started ADT, Orgovyx specifically, March 23rd. So I've got about 5 weeks to go before I'm on it for 6 months, which was the original prescription from my medical oncologist. But she was thinking about it, and because of the BRCA1, she's floated the idea of me staying on it for a total of 10 months. My problem is I've got a conflict of opinion with my different doctors. My radiation oncologist says 4 to 6 months and no more than 6 months, or it's likely to do me more harm than good. I've talked to several other radiation oncologists and got just across the board different opinions. I spoke earlier in the year with Albert Chang. He said no ADT, which kind of took me aback. And later I spoke to a friend of mine who was actually treated this summer by Albert Chang with a Gleason 8, and Chang told him no ADT. But I'm going to do at least the 6 months. Just to make the question even a little more complicated, I do have a little bit of mild osteopenia in my lumbar spine, and I'm getting the Orgovyx, which is normally pretty expensive, for free from the manufacturer until December 31st. After that, I'd have to pay for it, which is a lot of money, or go on Lupron. So I'm disinclined to go beyond December 31st, which would get me out about 9 months. Got another radiation oncologist I spoke with, by the way, who said 6 to 9 months. So just all across the board on that. And so the choice is 6 months, 9 months, or what? Any opinions on that? And also a related question, again, having to do with delaying or avoiding recurrence. I am on a plant-based diet, have been most of my life. I exercise pretty vigorously. Anything else I can do might help. For example, hyperbaric oxygen, anything there. So those are my two questions. Just wondering what the group thought about one or both of those.
Bill?
As someone who was on ADT for 24 months, I'll give you my opinion. Back in the day, and this was over 10 years ago, go right around 10 years ago, and I believe Rick had a very similar experience. Maybe was on it a little longer. I can't remember. I know we've discussed it, but yeah, even after we did the 24 months, then they came out with studies saying that there were very similar results with anywhere between 12 and up to 24 months on ADT. There were similar results in the long run, but at 6 months, and I would even hazard to say at 9 months, you're going to feel some of the effects of ADT, but not quite as severe if you stay on it long term, like we did. And your recovery would be much quicker also. I've heard guys in here say those that have been on ADT for a long time, when they go off, they have a hard time getting their testosterone to come back up.
I should add, so far, I've had almost no symptoms from it. So few
And
that
how long have you been on it so far?
4.5 months. And so I really can't hardly tell, other than a slight sweatiness in the evening, that I'm even on it.
Yeah.
When you get
that's not surprising.
Yeah.
For some guys, it can take 3 months before you even feel it. With the Orgovyx, it does tend to drop your testosterone quicker, so you do get a response quicker. But remind us again, if you could just send the organizers your last name, because I can't remember it, and I want to track my notes. What was the Gleason score that your biopsy delivered?
4 plus 3.
Okay, so 4 plus 3 typically was 6 to 9 months. So everybody telling you 6 to 9 months that's correct. Less than 6 months, probably not. The other thing is that we don't believe that BRCA1 is a factor in prostate cancer any longer. We always thought it was. We've discussed that with you in this group. So it's not, I don't think you have the same concerns, at least for prostate cancer. I don't know about BRCA1 in other cancers. So, you probably,
But
I know you.
I've looked into that. I've looked into that quite a bit, and the bottom line on BRCA1 is very little is known about it because it's so rare compared to BRCA2.
Yeah, it's right.
But though so it isn't clear. You're right that it causes prostate cancer, but there is a concern that it could speed up recurrence and also shorten the time to castrate resistance.
Okay,
Um,
but I wouldn't even go there
okay.
because the fact is that you're going to do the 6 months. If you want to extend it to 9 months, and it means you've got to do a Firmagon shot, then extend it. If you can't get more Orgovix, and then you're just going to wait and see what happens. People can make themselves crazy and do all too often by thinking about what if, and this could happen, and that could happen, and the other could happen. What happens if nothing happens? And if something happens, you've got a group like this and some very good docs, and we've all got your back, and you'll come in, and then we'll talk to you. If you're asking us, how long do we think you should remain on the hormone therapy? Probably the 6 to 9 months. You decide whether you want it to be 6 or you want it to be 9. For me, I probably would do at least 8 months. From what I know, would I do more than that? I doubt it. I certainly wouldn't be thinking of having to do 12. So if you've already done 4 and you're doing fine and it's not bothering you too much, push comes to shove. I mean, to extend it by 30 days at a time with a 30-day Lupron shot after you run out of your Orgovix.
Oh, I'm not going to run out. I've got Orgovix till December 31st. So
Which
I'm
is
good
how
on
many
that.
months? Which is how many months?
That will total 9 months.
Oh, okay. So
Good.
if you've got enough Orgovix for 9 months, then we don't need to talk about that anymore. You just keep taking it until you feel you want to stop. If it were me, I'd do it at least 8, and I'd probably go for 9. I mean, I've always seen with men that if you err on the side of conservatism with prostate cancer, you do better. If you try to take shortcuts, you can live to regret it. And the
But what
fact is that if you did 8 months or 7 months instead of all of it, and God forbid it did come back, you'd only be beating yourself up and say, well, what if I would have done 9 months? If you do the 9
right.
months, you'll say, okay, I did what it did and it still came back, then we'll deal with it. So to make the answer simple, probably 9 months. That's what I would do.
What does it do? I mean, does it merely put the cancer in hibernation and then it wakes back up like it never, nothing,
Well,
no.
I mean that's a popular theory, and I think when we're talking about more serious, and we try to stay away from discussions on hormone therapy in this group, David, because it's really the most that you do it for in this group is probably 9 months, and just like Dr. John said, it's not going to affect you that much, and we really don't like to get more into it. But if you want to come in and discuss how it works and what it does, feel free to join. The advanced group, there's one tomorrow, or the recurrent group, there's one tomorrow. We can get into it more.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Anybody have any questions that they want
Yeah,
to
we had a
ask?
couple of hands raised. Mr. Kavanaugh.
Yes, particularly timely, David. Your situation was very similar to mine. I'm 82 years old. I have heart conditions, but the prostate cancer was initially preliminarily diagnosed as early as August of last year. We went through all the steps They thought it was going to be slow growing because that was the general popular idea that prostate cancer is slow growing. As it turns out, mine ended up being faster growing. I ended up going from 9.1 to 12.3 during a one given month. Surgery was not an option. In February, they treated me over a 5-day period with a very aggressive cancer treatments, the radiation treatments. I was sleeping during the 5 intervening days over that 2 weeks, 12 to 14 hours a day, knocked the heck out of me, but it was a large dosage. I was put on Orgovix starting January 3rd before the radiation. I had gotten my PSA 3 months ago. It had dropped from 12.1 to 0.1, which made me very happy.
Yes.
I just came back 3 days ago from my secondary PSA, and it was also 0.1, and so it's stable. Orgovix is working for me. However, unlike you, it's knocking my socks off. I feel very, very tired, not energetic. In the meanwhile, they've diagnosed me with severe obstructive sleep apnea, and they're going to put me on a machine a week and a half from now. So I have a different reaction to the Orgovix. I did ask the doctor yesterday when they finally came back with a 0.1 result confirmed, which was good news. Should I be staying on this? The initial prescription was that I would stay on it from January 3rd of this year for a year and a half. He still felt that that was the right treatment. That's higher than the 9 months you guys are talking about. However, I said, what are the other options? He says, well, you can cut it cold turkey. But he said, that's your option. He says you could go get a 3-month belly shot. But if you don't like the belly shot, then you're stuck with the effects of that for 3 months. So I said, no, I don't want to do that. And I said, let's continue it. Right now I'm at 8 months. My Orgovix is being paid for through December 31st, just as yours is. My plan is at this point in time, I'm going at it a month at a time and see how we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm functioning. I've cut back a lot of my chaplain duties for a lot of different things to pay attention to my health. I generally was pretty active. I'm in 4 veterans groups as an active chaplain and so forth.
Are you able to exercise? Because I understand that can often help with fatigue that's related to ADT.
And what I'm doing now is I'm getting 2 hours a week with a doctor of physical therapy to strengthen the lower muscles in particular, because I didn't have the strength. But I'm still sleeping a lot, but it's like 9 to 9.5 hours a day on a regular type basis.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there is a real parallel between our stories, isn't there?
Yeah.
Jim, Marshall, you have a hand up?
Yes, David, I was on, ADT 5 years.
Okay,
and
wow.
I happen to tolerate it well because I practically exercised every day aerobically on a bicycle. And I volunteered and I stayed extremely active, and it really helped. And so it wasn't a problem at all because I forced myself outside and I stayed active and I got the heart rate up at least once a day for about a half an hour to 40 minutes.
How did it do to your bones? How was your bones on?
The bones a little bit osteopenia, but I was put on the calcium from the start. And so it isn't bad. As I said, I was on it 5 years continuously until I took a treatment, and it's been now 3 years on the holiday. So,
wow, that's a good long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You are doing the right things.
Okay, good to hear.
I think.
Bill in Virginia.
Thank you. David asked a question about oxygen therapy. I was just curious, is oxygen therapy not a typical part of a treatment option for radiation?
Hyperbaric oxygen specifically?
Yes. I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I wonder that too. I'd like to, if anybody knows, I'd like to hear the answer. Okay.
I can chime in on that. Radiation cystitis that doesn't go away after a while and doesn't respond to conservative treatment becomes eligible for hyperbaric oxygen therapy. We've had a number of people in the AnCan that have gone through it, and to my knowledge, they've tolerated it well, although it's a real pain because you have to go a million times, and I think have been pretty much uniformly successful. Aren't I right, Rick, about that?
Good to know. But in terms of just doing it as a preventative, any findings or research showing that it helps or doesn't help?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's no reason
That-
to do it as preventative.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate your help.
Yeah,
Super.
I looked at that at one time, but then when I saw what you had to go through, I was like, I could never do it unless they had a hyperbaric chamber that was the same size as my living room, and I could sit on a couch because the ones they showed me were very small. It's a little chamber, and you're locked in there, and they can't just let you out if you're having a panic attack. So I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
no,
Given
not for me.
Given the fact that I'm still coming off the urinary urgency from the radiation, they'd have to send me in there with a pee bottle.
Yeah, that too. Oh, they could catheterize you, you know.
No thanks.
Did anybody else have anything for David?
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
Great. Well, good luck to you.
Thanks.
I think we've been through the whole list. Is there anybody else that had something they wanted to bring up tonight? No? Well, we bringing it in right on time. So how about that?
Oh, you got Boykin. He's going to be a tough act to follow, Boykin.
I know, I see that. Great job, Stuart.
When Boykin steps up as the lead moderator, we're gonna have like 6 ringers dial in and say they're all new guys.
So everybody, we'll be back. We're back here in 2 weeks. Same time, same place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe the moderators want to hang on a sec.
So everyone, take care. We'll see you.
All right. Take care,
Good
guys.
night,
Have a good night.